Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to wait a few more minutes before we start as we wait for a few more people to connect.
And then just minimize.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Regina Williams. I just wanted to welcome to Q&A discussion. During this session, we want to hear from you guys, get your comments, your questions, and any general feedback you have regarding our MicroStrategy SDK, our MSTL, the K-base, or the discussion forum. And all of these, all this feedback is going to help us make the SDK better in the future. Let's just go around everyone, introduce themselves, and how long they've been on the team. But before that, though, I just want to say what our team does. So right now in the room, we have members of the APS SDK team, which is Advanced Product Support SDK team. We help answer questions on the discussion forum. We help publish and revise tech notes that you might have seen. And the main SDKs that we work with is a mobile SDK, iOS SDK, and Android. Web SDK, which includes Java, Task API, and things like that. iServer SDK, and Visualization SDK. So really quick before we get started, I'm just going to have everybody briefly introduce themselves. First, my name is Regina Williams. I've been part of the APS SDK team now for about right around 13 years. And my favorite SDK that I like is the Web SDK. And here's the next person.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lim. I've been with the team for 4 years, and my favorite Intelligencer SDK and the Web SDK.
Hi, I'm Stacey. I've been with the team for 2.5 years now, and my favorite SDK would be the Web SDK.
Hi, my name is Andres. I've been with the team for 1 year, and my favorite SDK is mobile iOS SDK.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vin Nguyen. I've been with the SDK team for about a year, and my favorite SDK are the Web SDK and the mobile Android SDK.
Okay, also in the room, we have Jose Silva. He's our SDK program manager. And
hello, thanks for joining. I'm Jose Silva. I'm working manager. Okay, so to discuss a bit more about all the SDK and what you guys have in mind.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with questions. Let's go ahead and start.
All right, so our first question we're going to start off with is from Darren Holmblad. He's asking, are there plans to publish documentation the newer visualization framework, which was touched on at last year's MicroStrategy World? So aren't familiar, last year Jose demonstrated how to deploy a custom widget in MicroStrategy using one of the 3. So for Darren's question, the answer is yes. We do have some documentation on this. In order to get access to the sign-up program, you can email them at betaprograms@microstrategy.com. And then they'll give you documentation, any samples, and then the beta discussions on the community. Our next question we're going to have is from community user IN6789. They're asking about customization in express mode versus interactive mode. So first, I'll quickly discuss the main differences between an SDK perspective. So interactive mode is rendered using Java on the web server side to generate the HTML to the user's browser. Many of the Java classes involved can be easily customized depending on what you want to achieve. Express mode, it's generated, generates its display using a MicroStrategy JavaScript framework, which we refer to as Mojo. The document data is sent to the client in JSON format, and the HTML is then generated on the client side using this Mojo framework. If this user is on the call, it'd be helpful to know what specifically you were looking to customize, and then we can better help answer your question and help you customize.
Okay, so a couple other questions. Thank you, Stacey.
Hello all. So moving forward, our next question is also on the topic of Mojo by community user Darren Holmblad. Are there any plans to release the Mojo documentation? So the Mojo framework is very large, so that's why we'll need your feedback so that we can understand which aspect of express mode and what type of customization that you're trying to do, what you are interested in. So currently there are some type of look and feel customizations that can be done with CSS. And also there are other things that you can do with Java when generating the data for the document. However, your feedback is very important and helpful for us so we understand what needs to be included into the documentation. And I'll look forward to your question in the live chat windows, or you can use any of our SDK QA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vin. We have a mobile SDK question. Andres is going to help us answer that.
Okay, so the next question is for the community user. Question is, I apps using no SDK client a couple of years back, and now I would like to upgrade those apps to the 9.5 mobile client. Can you provide detailed instructions on the best approach to updating an existing app in SDK Xcode? And for that, I'm going to show documentation about this. So this is the developer.microstrategy.com site. So here we have a mobile SDK option. Go to the documentation. So here in home, search, we can type rebranding. And here it returns the rebranding documentation. So if we click here, it will show the steps that we have to follow to rebuild application. Here you can see just general steps, links. It will take you to more details. So also, if you search for setting, you find setting up the MicroStrategy mobile project is how you would get started. To set up when you download the project and open in Xcode. And just for client, you have to use Xcode 6. And Yosemite support Xcode 6. My understanding is that for Xcode 6.3, Mavericks will not be supported, so Apple will only support Yosemite. And for 9.5, you will have to use iOS 8.
Okay. I'll take the INN6789 and asking on prompts. Are there not as many examples provided related? We got requirements to. So that's true. We do have about 5 or 6 customization samples right now in SDL, and there are maybe 3 or 4 in K-base documentation. It would be very helpful to know exactly what type of validation, because the prompt SDK, the prompt framework and the blocks framework is so large that it would be, there's so many different ways to customize. It would be very helpful to know exactly what your scenario is. And there's something that we plan on doing to introduce more samples community that Jose will talk about later. But I think it would be a perfect place to put prompt customization samples and scenarios, and I think that would be very helpful. So we'll hold provide more information about that, and then I think that's something that we can definitely use in this situation to start adding more samples to the community a lot faster. Next question I got here is from user maybe also INN6789. I'll just clarify if hopefully that's the right user. But this person is asking about the function plugin wizard. Question. I have MSTR Analytics Enterprise Evaluation Edition installed and are trying to create a custom function. I have installed all possible Visual VC++ redistributable files, and they're getting an error. So one thing about this is that we've actually have an evolution to the original custom function plugin wizard, and it's called R integration. The tech note here, but it's actually a lot easier. So it will no longer require compilation with Visual Studio, and this function can be deployed in both a Windows iServer or a Unix iServer. So right now I'm just going to go pull up that particular tech note. I'm just going to show browsing through the KBase. Okay, so it's the second tech note here, the TN4. Excuse me, TN47802. And this tech note is actually very helpful. It even has a video strategist named, and he goes over a lot more information about our analytics and how to deploy a function to the MicroStrategy environment as well. So this talks about prerequisites that you need, where and how to download the R integration pack. And again, as I mentioned, this can be done either on a Windows environment or a Unix environment. So this is definitely a nice step forward from using the original function plugin wizard. So go ahead and take a look at this tech note. And there's also additional tech notes as well, but this video is actually very helpful in showing how to accomplish this. Okay. Did we have any new questions come in from the live chat window? Oh, sorry, we do have a few more questions that came in previously. Rebecca's going to provide information on that.
Okay, our next question comes from MicroStrategy community user Darren. Does MicroStrategy have any plans to make the WCE plugin for specifically IntelliJ? At this time, we do not have plans to develop the WCE for other IDEs. However, I do have a follow-up question for Darren. If you can let us know what features IntelliJ piques your interest, we can definitely look into that. The next question comes from user INN6789. What are SDK developments in terms of software development lifecycle? What works better for collaboration, configuration management, and promotion? That's a great question. The way we have the SDK set up is utilizing our plugin structure. The plugin structure allows you to customize MicroStrategy Web without modifying the out-of-the-box files. These Delta files exist in the plugins, allowing you to port them between your environments easily. This is the best way to maintain your customizations, collaborate, and promote your customizations.
Okay, I have another question here from Abhishek coming from Facebook. He's asking his question. MicroStrategy Web SDK documentation is really nice. It has limited or no examples on customizing MicroStrategy documents, report services documents, and he would like to see more examples in this area. So with report services documents, again, you can customize many different ways. You can do customizations in interactive mode or express mode. It'd be great to hear more details from Abhishek, which mode he's referring to customizing. You can also do a lot of things like in event handling to handle how links are processed when users click on the links from the dashboards. And you can do a lot of things in add-ons as well. So it'd be very helpful to know exactly which one. Right now, we do have plenty of documentation. We do have plenty of documentation and samples in our K-base as well that goes over how to do a lot of these specific things, but I would definitely like to hear from Abhishek so we know what specific information we need to include in our documentation. It looks like right now we have some live questions coming through.
So Marvin Bleiberg is asking, Polaris MicroStrategy 10 is supposed to have ability to easily add additional visualizations, D3 high charts, etc. Will this be via Web SDK or so we worked on a new interface in an easier way and integrate them with MicroStrategy in version 10. So in previous versions, what I showed in World last year, you had to create your own, and you had to create a custom Java class and a custom JavaScript code, as well as a transform, etc. So in the new version, we realized that when you try to do this, it becomes a lot of focus on getting all the stuff together when you're really trying to focus on coding the visualization. So the approach we took was to create a way so that you can say, okay, I want to create a new visualization, and then pretty much you have a text editor to be able to write your visualization code, and we do all the heavy lifting for you to create on behind the scenes the plugin that is required. So on the back end, it is indeed a plugin with source code, etc., but you'll be able to focus only on the visualization JavaScript code. Additional to that, we enhanced the JavaScript code that you can use so that you can get access to data easier, and we do a lot of heavy lifting for you. If you want to be able to try it out, and we would love your feedback, is if you sign up for the early adopter program. That way you can get access to this tool and let us know in advance whether what you think about it. If there's something missing you could work on that could make your lives easier, and get general feedback. It would be very helpful.
Okay, next question. Andres will help answer Mike Crane's question.
So just to follow up with Crane's question, so basically, if you're using the mobile MicroStrategy mobile Xcode project for a previous release, and you want to use the MicroStrategy mobile project for the new release, which is 9.5, the most recent one, and assuming that what you did to your pre-branding steps, so to use 9.5, you have to basically follow the same steps, which consist of downloading the DMG, extracting the project. For 9.5, you have to use Xcode 6 to open the project, and then go through the rebranding steps. So that's kind of the upgrading process to use 9.5. So there's no actually like direct way to upgrade. Basically follow all the steps again for the rebranding of now the 9.5 project. If you were using a custom app, like a complete custom app, which only uses your MicroStrategy framework, then you only have to replace the framework in the resources folder. So this is when you're using a complete custom app. So when you only integrate the MicroStrategy framework with your application. For rebranding, again, you basically have to repeat all the steps with your 9.5 project. And the steps were the ones I showed from the documentation.
Thanks. We have another question. Thanks, Darren, for the question about IntelliJ. Darren's comment is that IntelliJ is a much more functional IDE than Eclipse. It provides hooks, version control systems such as Git, improved debugger, and it is in general much better. Well, I have a good news for you. One of the things we're looking at integrating, it wouldn't encompass the whole Web SDK part, right? But one of the things we are looking to work with is Android Studio for Android. So on that one, we do have plans to migrate our code to integrate with Android Studio that is based on IntelliJ. So that would be the point right now that we are considering to do. We can look definitely into the points that you bring up, and try to give some guidelines or some integration with our customization editor somehow in Eclipse. In reality, Git, maybe we can have a workaround for that. But as of now, for the Web SDK part, we don't have plans except for Android Studio. But thanks for the feedback. We'll look into how to get at least the version control system better, if we can provide some.
Any questions? Okay, so now we're going to just have before we go into the feature of some things that will be coming up with the SDK that Jose is going to go into in a little bit more detail. I just want to, because I know we have different levels of users that are joining us today, community users. So I just want to do a quick, brief overview of how to use how to access all the current resources that we have today, in case some of you may not know. So the first thing that we have is what you know is right here on the screen is the MSDZ, and it's categorized mobile SDK and visualization SDK, and then just a link to the community. Down here under other documentation is where you will find information on the Customization Explorer and other SDKs like the Intelligent Server SDK. Down here under the previous versions, you're going to find a lot of information about, like, for each release that you'll find all of the customization plugins that we ship and that we have a scenario for in the MSDL is packaged right here for you, and we files that you may need to get access to, again, like the out-of-the-box image files or the styles or the JSP and ASP files. You'll find all of those here under these places for all the different resources. In addition, you're going to find all the previous MSCL releases in case you had to go all the way back to 9.2.0 for our supported versions. And in addition to that, we have, if you go, once you've downloaded the MSCL, like, I mean, the SDK, like if I choose this download button right here under Web SDK, what that's going to give me is this folder right here, this SDK folder. So under this folder, I'm going to have different things again, like I'm going to again have access to all the different plugins that you just saw. And I'm going to have the MSCL so I can have it offline. Another thing here that I'm going to see is the samples, which a lot of people may not be familiar with. And under here, you're going to see things like different user management actions, like creating users, groups, attaching different privileges to users. You'll find different samples like that. You're also going to see things like folder browsing actions, as well as session management and ACL type customizations, and even custom group creation samples. So there's plenty of locations where we have samples stored already. In addition to that, you're going to also see some .NET samples that show how to use our bridge utility to create a session and then do some minor things inside of a .NET environment. And in addition to that, we also have the KBase. So I'm going to click back over here. And you can ways, if you go into the MS, into the MicroStrategy and browse to the MicroStrategy knowledge base, some ways, or you can go into a specific category for SDK. And then anything that you type here will specifically be searching through all of the SDK tech notes. And one thing that's helpful, even though like the titles of these are very specific to, like the sample is specifically geared to what you see here in the title, a lot of times we're using API or showing sample how to do things in general as well. Like if it's just logging in, creating a user or document. So even though the title might not necessarily match your requirement, you'll find a lot of samples if I just search for something general. Like for example, if I do a search, like I already know that I want to customize something on like on customizing or executing a document or report online. If I just do web report instance, for example, because I already might know that that's the class I want to use from another sample that I located. I can search this here in the SDK section, and this is going to return me back to use this API. So, and again, even if the title doesn't match like exactly what you're looking for, you can always just take a look at what we have out there. So you can put together what your requirement is from different samples. So this is just another way to use it. And of course, you can always also search the discussion forum in case a previous community answered or asked or answered your same question that you have. So you can definitely search through browse discussions, or when you do a search, just make sure you have community selected. So that way you're going to be searching specifically in the community. So that's all I had as far as just using or locating resources in general. Next, I'm going to hand the floor back over to Jose. And he's going to discuss a little bit more about what we have coming up with the SDK and some exciting things regarding the community as well for SDK. Thank you, Jose.
Hello, it's me again. Well, first of all, thank you again for attending this. Really impressive and amazing to have you here and get your direct feedback. So one of the things that as a company we are significantly putting a lot of emphasis now is working on improving the SDK and making sure that it helps our customers and our partners to build things with realize that some of the things that we have need to be improved to help you and make you get your solution built in a faster way. So we are really putting a lot of our focus on building that to solve that problem. We have been working heavily right now in improving the MSDL and making sure that it is updated, and we have revising the entire structure, making sure that all the valuable content that we have there, and making sure that everything is working with the latest version. we are also working a lot on making sure that we have all the right links, a consistent look and feel in sections of the documentation, and that we create all the different channels to provide you the different content. For example, I wanted to cover that we are designing a section where you can download directly some sample code, and that sample code can be accessible in an easier way than it is right now. As you saw, there is a set of content available in the download. When you download the SDK, you can get a lot of useful information, but we want to make it easier for you so that you can find the information that is relevant to what you're doing in a much easier way. We are also looking into integrating with the community. We believe that a lot of the most important work we have to do will come from your feedback, and we are effort right now into opening channels with you so we can hear from you and make sure that we are aware of what are the best have for us to improve our product. So that's the reason why we are putting a lot of emphasis into integrating with the community. And actually, as a medium-term strategy, we're going to be moving the MSDL as well into the community so that you can search a place. Samples repository, our idea with that is that you can find a way to do things that are very repeatable and very across customers. Like, let's say that we realize a set of functions or a set of procedures or customizations that are many different customers. We want to make your lives easier, so and we have in mind to put a set of samples that at least get you up to speed fast, also show you best practices. That would be that is on the plan that we have, and we want to put everything easily searchable and easy to find. We are also looking into the idea of being able to open a channel with you so that as a community, if you have a plugin or a customization that you feel from it, that we can create a kind of a repository where people can collaborate, and that you can get up to speed faster and see what other people are doing and really cool things. We are defining right now if we are going to do this, what would be the best channel, but we also wanted to hear from you and see what you have in mind, and if it's something that you will be interested of doing. Another initiative that I am looking to implement is something called the SDK sample of the month. So what we want to do is kind of a voting system, or like Reddit, where you can post and you can get upvoted or downvoted, and then whatever is the highest demanded one, we could create a sample so that it can be used by you. Now, I want to be clear on this one that the idea is just to be able to faster, and this customization would have to be that it's good enough so that it can be shared across different customers, and that is very useful for many. Like, we wouldn't want to do something that's unique to one customer. And the other one is that the level of effort, I mean, we cannot complete customization of a whole environment, right? Like, the idea of very valuable, highly valuable scenario that can be done in a relatively quick amount of time, we can get a way to deliver that to you, and that it can help you get up to speed faster. So I'm really looking forward to hear from you. We are looking at the community every day and checking the new posts and seeing what new ideas you come up with. So make sure that what you are writing there is being read. Every myself, we're looking into that, and definitely keep us posted about all these ideas that we have, and if you think it's something you're interested to for us to be doing.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Jose. So during when he was talking, we just had one more question come in from Darren. Darren's question was, can we create our own custom auto text or mobile in the current framework? And auto text in context of MicroStrategy right now is actually like something that you would put like on your document and then it would be resolved for you. But the resolution of that auto text is happening on the intelligence server side. So there's not too much we can do on the web or mobile side to get to impact that. But what you can do if you want to, if there's something that you want to resolve yourself, you can always do that in a customization in Web SDK to resolve that on your own. To resolve that first before displaying it to the user. So that's just an option. And then of course it depends on where you want that auto text to, or that your custom, I should say, custom auto text to display, whether in a document, then you can do it at, you can do it either in an event handler or a post collect add-on, Darren, or any place like that to get it to generate before the actual results are displayed on the screen. But again, like, but just in general, auto text is resolved on the intelligence server. So there's really no way we can customize that process right now. I think that's all for questions. And we're just going to wrap up. Rebecca?
Well, we just want to thank everyone for joining our first SDK Live Q&A session. We appreciate all the questions and feedback you guys shared with us. We plan on hosting future live sessions and hope you all can join then too. In the meantime, please keep sending your questions and feedback through Twitter, Facebook, and community with the hashtag SDKQA. If we didn't answer your question live today, we'll be sure to answer them by the end of this week. And if you missed any of them or this live session, it will be available for playback on our support YouTube channel. So you can always play this back in the future.
Okay, guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and end the session. Thanks again for attending, and we look forward to having you guys join us for future sessions as well. Thank you, guys. Have a good afternoon.